certain moment in hip-hop where you can feel the energy change around an artist before the charts, sales, or headlines ever catch up. It's not loud at first, it's subtle. People who used to stay quiet suddenly start talking. People who avoided picking sides begin sharing opinions, and when that happens, it usually means the industry has already decided something behind the scenes. That's when I realized things were no longer moving in Nicki Minaj's favor. Now, before you leave any comments, please make sure to watch the entire video. When celebrities who normally mind their business feel comfortable criticizing you publicly, that's not bravery, that's safety. It means they believe the blowback won't reach them anymore. And that belief didn't come out of nowhere. A big part of it traces back to Nicki's appearance at M-Fest, a Turning Point affiliated event organized by Erica Kirk following the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Nicki didn't just show up, she sat down for a conversation. And in that conversation, she touched on topics that were always going to land heavy, especially given the audience and the platform. At one point, she suggested that Black people make white people feel unsafe or uncomfortable being themselves. For many listeners, that wasn't just confusing. It felt disconnected, not rooted in history, not grounded in reality, and not aligned with the people who helped build her legacy. For some fans, the issue wasn't even the specific words, it was the setting. Turning Point isn't politically neutral, and whether Nicki intended it or not, her presence there was read as a signal. That signal was loud enough to push even her closest allies to respond. Joe Budden, someone who had defended Nicki publicly in the past and shared a real relationship with her, didn't just disagree quietly. He made it clear on his podcast that he was done, asked her not to contact him, and publicly separated himself from her moving forward.
Let's get back to it.
Let's do it.
Nicki Minaj, Turning Point USA. She went out there. By now you've seen it. I got a bunch of phone calls about it.
I bet.
I'm out. I'm done. That was it. That was it. Sorry. I'm gone. I'm gone. That's it. The last dance. That was the last candle on the cake for me. Sorry. Sorry, Barbs. Sorry, Nick. Don't call me. Don't text me. It is what it is. Sometimes how y'all move around out there does have an effect on how I view you, and this was one of them things. I'd be a fool to think that you didn't consider that before you did it.
I'm sure.
Which just says to me that you really don't give a I'm even more baffled. I don't even know how much of this conversation I could have, but they're so anti-transgender, which is confusing to me because I've been to the Nicki concert.
That's the thing that fucks me up.
That moment mattered because it wasn't internet noise. It was a fracture inside her own circle. And when those fractures become public, they change how everyone else moves. Now, here's the part people may not want to admit. If Nicki had gone to Turning Point, said a few controversial things, flirted with conservative talking points, and left, I honestly believe her career might have expanded. History tells us that being labeled anti-Black has rarely ended a hip-hop career. It hasn't. We've seen artists survive far worse. Kanye wore the red hat, said the quiet part out loud, and people were still streaming his music not long after. Black audiences don't cancel the way social media pretends we do. We talk about boycotts, but they don't stick. Gucci came back. Target came back. The culture moves on. So no, that wasn't the real damage. What shifted everything was the perception that she was willing to alienate her most loyal fan base. The messaging around gender and sexuality hit differently, especially when it came across as dismissive of LGBTQ identities. And here's the reality that can't be ignored. A huge portion of Nicki Minaj's most vocal, aggressive, and protective supporters come from that community. The Barbs aren't just fans, they're enforcers. They control narratives online, pressure media figures, and make criticism costly. That protection is part of Nicki's brand. So when it seemed like she was willing to push that community aside, the foundation cracked. Once that happens, the intimidation factor disappears, the aura fades, and when the next album drops, there's no digital army ready to go to war for you.
I'm so confused by so much of what was said on that stage.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing, hoping that maybe it was going to be impartial or there was a reason, but she was just echoing a lot of the shit that you would expect to be echoed.
I remember
highly disappointing.
Oh,
same.
Extremely
disappointing.
I'm not disappointed.
Very anti-Black of you. Very anti-Black of you. Let's just call shit what it is. You were saying?
Oh no, I'm not disappointed just because I've come to expect
had no expectation.
Yeah, or I expected that. Unfortunately, I remember when I first criticized Nicki a couple months ago, and I said she's doing these MAGA talking points. She sounds like a MAGA person, and the Barbs came after me like, "Why are you saying she's MAGA just because she cares about X, Y, and Z?" Is she MAGA now? She's at a turning point conference. She's talking to Charlie Kirk's wife.
Talking about how handsome Trump is.
How handsome Trump is.
No, she went crazy.
She just called J.D. Vance an assassin, which is a weird thing to say.
Crazy.
To the woman whose husband was just assassinated.
That was a very awkward.
It was just, you could
30
pick any
seconds.
other word, right? It was like, oh, what is happening here?
Didn't she all little girls mattered when talking about that? It was a hot ass mess on that stage.
It was.
That's exactly.
Like there's no way to sugarcoat it.
Right.
I'm done. I'm off.
And I think part of that is because we respect Nicki's mind and her autonomy. In other words, I don't think she's being duped. I don't think she's a patsy. I think she knows exactly what she's doing. She's making a choice, and I strongly disagree with that choice. And so I can't rock with it. I still think she's a great MC. She's probably top 10 ever for me. Male, female, dead, a lot, whatever. I think she's just a great artist. But the choices she's making in life are stunningly disappointing over the course of her career, although over the last year, it's exactly on brand what we would expect.
Now, before we go any further, if you rock with the content, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications for more hip-hop news like this. It really helps the channel grow. What makes this even more complicated is that none of this feels fully genuine. It doesn't feel like a deep-rooted belief system. It feels calculated. Nicki has openly talked about coming to the US illegally and overstaying her visa. She's also been transparent about not having citizenship yet and wanting it. That context matters, especially in a political climate where immigration enforcement is not being played with. So it raises uncomfortable questions. Is this about ideology or is it about positioning? Is this belief or strategy? Is she trying to secure favor, protection, or leverage at a moment where the stakes feel personal? If that's the case, then this becomes a trade-off, and every trade-off costs something. Nicki Minaj doesn't need America financially. She's wealthy enough to live anywhere in the world comfortably. So when people see her aligning this way, it doesn't read as survival. It reads as choice. And that choice has clearly cost her cultural trust. Once that emotional connection breaks, it doesn't come back the same. You can still sell records, but the feeling changes. The magic fades.
I guess where my brain be stuck on is an ounce of black is black enough for me. A drop of black is black enough for me.
Okay.
So when you stand next to certain people that have made their agendas very clear as it pertains to black people, then that means you're complicit.
Yes.
Or in agreement. Okay.
That too.
If you're not in agreement and you look like you in agreement, then you're complicit.
You're complicit.
So either way.
And it's hurtful when people take all of that equity built in black and do that with it.
Maybe they don't view that drop of black like you do.
Still right.
I don't know. I'm not making
everybody don't rep black. Black is not a monolith. Everybody don't rep it the same way. I'm only talking about my views in terms of people that I rocked with stamping something a little too hard for me. I can't.
So then what do you...
I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. I can't watch that and then we on the text or on the, are you nuts?
Yo, dog, this
you don't know me or my family. This has greater ramifications than any one of us. They talking about listen, all of it is a campaign. I mean, if you know what they're doing, if you thought Trump was bad, now they're talking about the Vance Kirk ticket, and you know what they're saying out there. I'm not even a political man, but I know what they're saying out there. So
man, Vance just went up there and was like, now we no longer have to apologize. Now white. We don't gotta Now we don't have to apologize for being. We don't have to be guilty or apologize for being white. Since when did white people ever have to apologize for anything that they've done for the United States throughout the world?
The most dangerous part of all this isn't even about Nicki's career. It's about symbolism. When someone with her influence appears to validate rhetoric tied to white nationalism, even indirectly, it becomes cover. It allows those movements to point and say, see See, we're not racist. Even black celebrities agree. That's how dog whistles work. On the surface, the message sounds like freedom of expression, pride, and backlash against cancel culture. And many white Americans will say they felt silenced or unfairly labeled during that era. But underneath that language is something else entirely, a belief about ownership, about who belongs, about who doesn't. And history tells us those ideologies don't include immigrants, Muslims, or people who look like Nicki Minaj herself. Charlie Kirk has previously argued that a Muslim should never be mayor of New York City, not because of policy, but because of religion. That framework excludes entire communities outright. Standing next to that, even quietly, is still standing with it. Nicki may not care how that looks, but the audience does. And the silence from former allies says more than any tweet ever could. So I'll leave it here. When someone as powerful as Nicki Minaj starts losing allies, losing protection, and losing trust all at once, is that a temporary backlash or the moment the culture quietly moves on? And here's the real question I want you to answer in the comments. Do you think Nicki Minaj is making a long-term strategic move that will eventually pay off? Or did she sacrifice cultural loyalty for political security and cross a line she can't walk back from? And if you haven't already, make sure you like this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications for more hip-hop news like this. And if this breakdown added value, there's another one waiting on your screen right now. Click it, and I'll see you there. I'll catch you in the next one.